Did you know that the right phone sales tonality can increase your close rate by as much as 90% on your sales calls? Today, I'm going to teach you how tone and inflection can help you close more sales from your existing leads. And by the way, this works. And I know it works because clients tell us all the time. In fact, just this week, a client of ours, Gladys, shared with us she's closed 9 out of her last 14 sales calls. Now that's up from an average of 2 out of 30 that she was closing before she worked with us. Now, she told us that she had been following us for a while and was doing everything that we taught. But it wasn't until she took advantage of one of our free call review offers that she realized it wasn't about what she was saying, but how she was saying it. So today, we're gonna dive in and I'm gonna show you exactly how to improve your tone and your inflection to close more sales. And if you like this video, click the like button and of course, subscribe so you get notified and the little notification bell up in the corner whenever we post a new video. Okay, so today I'm gonna hit you with the 2x4, all right? 2 inflections and 4 frames that you wanna have on your sales calls. Now, Chris Voss, author of Split the Difference, talks a lot about these 2 inflections. So we're gonna start there, okay? And they are the declarative and the inquisitive inflection. Now, the declarative is really just simply stating a fact, whereas the inquisitive is actually showing genuine curiosity to get them to expand more on whatever it is that they're saying. And that's really important on your sales calls because part of what you're doing is you're trying to diagnose the problem. You're trying to understand what's actually going on so that you can understand what it is that they need, because every sales call, they're trying to buy their way out of something. And you've got to understand what that is so that you can show them how your solution is going to help them buy their way out of the problem that they've got and get to the future that they want. So the inquisitive is probably the most common one on your sales calls because you're going to use it to get the prospect to expand upon what they're saying. And the declarative is a great way to just acknowledge that you understand and also sometimes to maybe move on to another topic if that's not a fruitful one that's helping you understand the problem or leading towards the sale. So with the inquisitive one, and I'll give you an example of both. Somebody says to you something like, "She doesn't really listen to me." And maybe you want them to expand upon that. Maybe you want to understand more. So in that case, you would be like, "She doesn't listen to you?" Right? And you see the emphasis I put on the word listen and the tone in my voice is showing that I'm genuinely interested. I'm trying to understand what they mean, but I don't quite get it. So they're going to expand on that. Whereas the declarative one, you might just say, "Oh, she doesn't listen to you." Right? I just acknowledged that I understood what they're saying. I'm letting them know. And that also gives me a chance to then move on to another question if that's just not a fruitful topic that's going to lead us towards the outcome that we both want, which is to help them solve their problem and to invest with you in order to solve that problem. Okay, so those are 2 very important inflections. Now let's dive into the 4 frames that you want to have on your sales calls. All right, so there's 4 frames that you want to have on all your sales calls. Now, the first one is confidence. The second one is conviction. The third one is empathy. And the fourth one is curiosity. Now, you want to have all 4 of those on all of your sales calls. So let's talk about confidence first. Now, the first thing we want to do with confidence is we want to sit up, right? And even if you're on a sales call and they can't see you, you'll notice the way my voice changes when I sit up, right? If I'm kind of sitting down and I'm sinking into my chair, even if I'm talking at the same volume as I am right now, I'm saying something, but as I sit up and I talk, my voice projects more, my lungs are expanded. There's a confidence that's in my voice, and that's really, really important on your sales calls. It's something to consider. Now, what you also want to do is you want to be a little bit more playful, right? Because a confident person isn't going to be nervous. They're not going to be awkward. Now, I know when you're on your sales calls, you may have some nerves, you may have some awkwardness. That's okay. But you need to project that frame of confidence, right? You need to get comfortable in the uncomfortable. You need to be a little bit playful. You need to take the lead. So part of that's done, again, with your tone, and that's about sitting up straight. That's about, projecting your voice, right? If you're talking very low and you're slumped over like this and you're, trying to ask questions and, you're really not sure of yourself. "Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure," right? They're not going to have confidence in you. But when you're sitting up and you're talking and you're explaining how things are going to be and how you're going to help them get the result that they want, and when you're asking questions from a powerful place, you've got that confident frame. So that's really, really important. Conviction. All right, number one thing with conviction is don't waffle, right? You need to be certain in the things that you say because you're the expert and they're investing with you because you're the expert and they want you to solve their problem. So you want to be very careful not to waffle. Now, one of the big places where people tend to waffle and their inflection and their tone tends to change is when we talk about price. You'd be amazed how often somebody can do a very good sales call, but all of a sudden when they get to the end, they're like, yeah, so the price is, it's typically $7,000, but I usually take that paid in full, but I could, maybe split that into a couple of payments, or if you need to pay it over, and they just keep talking, right? And keep talking, and they sound nervous. That's not conviction, right? And one of my favorite things is when I say, so to work with us, it's 7,000, and they go, oh, okay. Can you maybe sharpen your pencil on that a little bit? Nope, that's the price. That's how we work, right? I don't waffle. I've got conviction, right? That's a really important piece of your sales call, right? If you are confident and you've got conviction, then you're a leader, and people want to invest, especially when it's a client business. They want to invest in somebody that's going to lead them to the solution that they want. Now, let's talk about empathy, because empathy is a big deal on your sales calls, and people don't realize how important that empathetic tone is. Right? Sometimes, especially in a client business, especially in the transformation and the coaching space, whether you're helping somebody improve their business or their life or their relationships or their health, right? They've really got maybe a hard story, something that's going on, and you want to make sure and show empathy for that. And you can do that just with your tone, right? You can, yeah, that has to be hard, right? You could just make noise, right? Like just little things like my breath, right? Like little noises that I'm making. Pay attention to this. And this is, by the way, one of the reasons that your sales call, recording your calls is so important, and reviewing your calls is so important. Because sometimes you'll go back and listen and go, oh my gosh, I sounded like I didn't care about that at all. Or why didn't I ask about that? Or this is why, right? Oh, my inflection there seemed more inquisitive, and that's why they went on and on and on and on some more when I really wanted to move on to another subject. You'll start to see some of that. And then curiosity, and curiosity is the fourth frame, and it's so important, and this is part of that inflection that we talked about early on, those two inflections. You can do that with your tone, but you need to be genuinely curious, right? Why has this person not gotten the result up till now? What have they tried? Why didn't those things work? Now, you might know why they work, but we need to know why they think they didn't work. Because if they think the reason they didn't work is wrong, that's okay. We don't necessarily need to correct that. But we do need to understand so that when we're selling the solution, when we're sharing with them our offer, we can explain the difference and why what we do is not going to end up in the same result they've gotten previously when they've worked with somebody else. If this was helpful, post the word helpful in the comments below. And of course, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. Make sure if you like this video, like it, share it with anybody that you think could use it. And of course, subscribe to our channel so you get notified by the little notification bell in the corner every time that we post a new video.